Hello everyone, myself Shilpa Maggo and I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Commerce, JDMC. Today we are going to talk about allowances, house rent allowance and entertainment allowance. In order to calculate the salary income, we know that we need to add basic salary, allowances, perquisite and retirement benefits. This will give us gross salary. From the gross salary, we need to reduce entertainment allowance, professional tax and standard deduction, which is 50,000. After reducing these three, we will get income under the head salaries. Now we are going to talk about allowances. Allowances are of different types and out of which some are fully exempted, some are partially taxable and some are fully taxable. We are going to talk about partially taxable allowances today, which are HRA and entertainment allowances. Let us begin with house rent allowance firstly. House rent allowance is basically if you are living in a rented house, then some of the allowance amount is exempted from taxation. Now we want to know that how much amount is exempted from the taxation. For that, there are these three components which we need to find out, which we need to calculate. Now, house rent allowance, the very first component for the deduction is either 40% or 50% of salary to be calculated. Now, either 40 or 50% means 40% if you are living in a non-metropolitan city and 50% if you are living in a metropolitan city. So 40 or 50% of salary to be calculated firstly. After that, we will find out another component which will be HRA, which is being actually received by the employer. So employee को जितना भी HRA मिला है, that will be our second component. Third would be rent paid minus 10% of the salary or 1/10 of the salary. Hereby, after finding out these three figures, we will be going for the minimum figure which will be considered as exemption from the HRA actually received. Now hereby we have been looking that there is a salary term mentioned here, 10% of salary or either 40 or 50% of the salary. Now talking about what do we mean or what all is included in the term salary, that we have to see. So salary will include basic salary plus DA if it is a part of retirement benefit. So you have to see कि अगर DA आपका retirement benefit का part है, only that in that particular case DA will be considered. For example, let's say कि 40% of DA is a part for pension fund, but 30% is part for provident fund. तो आप 30%, whichever is a minimum, that you will take. 30% will be considered for calculation of salary, for calculation of the exemption amount of HRA. After this, we need to add commission only if commission is in percentage of turnover achieved by the employee. अगर employee ने कोई भी turnover जो percentage basis पे earn करा है, only that will be considered here. We are not going to consider any fixed commission in this case. So these are the three main amount which we have to calculate firstly in order to reach to the exemption amount. So actual HRA received, then your 40 or 50% of the salary, and then rent actually paid by the employee minus 10% of the salary. So after these, finding out these three figures, whichever is the minimum figure, that we are going to deduct. Now let us have a look at this question. In the first question, we are given that basic salary is 10,000 per month. DA is 80% of the basic salary, but 50% is part of retirement benefits. Secondly, we are given that commission which is fixed 1,000 per month. Commission 5% of the turnover of 5 lakh, which comes out to be 25,000. So this is the one which is in percentage. After this, HRA which is actually received is 21,000 per month. Now it is given to us that Mr. X lives in a rented house in Delhi and pays 20,000 per month as rent. So you have to calculate the taxable HRA. So we have to look at those three figures. Now before looking at those three figures or finding out those, we have to find out the salary. Now salary part के लिए हमारे 3 components, basic salary which is given to us as 10,000 per month, तो हम इसको annual निकालेंगे, so which will come out to be 10,000 into 12 is equal to 1,20,000 will be your basic salary to be added. After this comes out DA. DA which is a part of retirement benefit. So 80% of basic salary here comes out to be 10,000 ka 80% will come out to be 8,000. But out of 8,000 we have to consider only 50% which is a part of retirement benefit. So 50% of the 8,000 comes out to be 4,000. तो यहाँ पर हम 4,000 पर मंथ के हिसाब से DA ऐड करेंगे. Commission fixed wala we are not going to consider because fixed is not to be considered here. We are just going to consider the commission which is in percentage of turnover, which is this one, yani ki 25,000. So these three figures are going to be added. We need to add these three figures. So this is the calculation, basic salary here. So which is coming out to be 10,000 into 12. So we are going to find out the annual salary here. 4,000 into 12, that is going to be 48,000, and 25,000 is given to us as commission. So our salary comes out to be 1,93,000. Now, after calculating the salary for HRA calculation, now we can find out those three figures. So 50% of the salary. Now why are we taking 50% not 40%? Because X lives in Delhi. It is given to us in the question. So he is living in a metropolitan city. So we will take 50% of 1,93,000, which comes out to be 96,500 here. Actual HRA received given to us is 21,000 per month. So 21,000 per month comes out to be for a year it comes out to be 2,52,000. After this, we have to find out rent paid minus 10% of the salary. So rent paid given to us is 20,000. So we are given ki 20,000 per month दिया जाता है, तो 20,000 multiplied by 12 comes out to be 2,40,000 minus 10% of this, which comes out to be 19,300. So these three figures are given to us. Now we have calculated 96,500. Second is 2,52,000. Third is 2,27,700. Now whichever is the minimum one out of these three, that will be our exemption amount. So our minimum one is coming out to be 96,500. Now this is how do we calculate the income taxable under the head salary. So basic salary we know is 1,20,000. After this, whatever is your actual HRA or allowances or DA you have received, write down that amount. So DA हमारा total जो है 96 था, जो हमने originally calculate करा था. Fixed commission 12,000 है, percentage वाला 25,000 है. Now this, after this we know HRA का हम amount निकालेंगे जो taxable HRA है. Taxable HRA is actually received is 2,52,000 minus exemption amount हमने निकाल लिया 96,500. So our taxable HRA comes out to be 1,55,500. Now this is the way how do we calculate income under the head salary, and this is how do we calculate taxable HRA. For taxable HRA, we have to find out the exemption amount, which will depend upon the three figures which we have calculated, these three figures. Whichever is the minimum amount, that gets reduced from your actual HRA. Now moving on to the next question, which says, it's the same question, there's only one difference. Now, let us have a look. Basic salary 10,000 per month. DA is same, 50% of the retirement benefit, same. Commission fixed 1,000 per month, and commission which is in percentage of turnover is 25,000. How much HRA is received in this case? 21,000. Now, what we are given in question that X lives in his own house in Delhi. So hereby in this particular question, what we are given ki X is living in his own house. Now you are asked to calculate the taxable HRA. Now you can find it out through going through the same steps, whereby only this figure is going to be different from the previous question, that rent paid comes out to be 0 in this case. So we have nothing which is paid for rent, so that we can't reduce anything, so that comes out to be 0 here. So the minimum is coming out to be 0. So exemption is 0. Otherwise also rule says ki if you are living or employee is living in a rented house, only then the exemption will be given. But if he is living in a house which is his of own, or if he is not paying any rent, in that particular case no exemption will be given. So we can see almost same figures, but here we can see 2,50,000, 0 exemption amount here. So the whole amount of HRA is going to be taxable in this particular case. Let us move on to the next question, next example. Hereby we are given basic salary of 1,92,000, DA which is 19,200, but 100% is a part of retirement benefit. So we are going to consider the whole amount of DA. Commission 7% on sales of 86,000. So hereby we are not given any amount. So we'll calculate 86,000 ka 7% will be your commission, and this will be considered in the salary while finding out the exemption amount of HRA. And actual HRA received is 24,000 per month in this particular question. X lives in Ajmer and pays 21,500 per month as rent. So he's living in a non-metropolitan city given in the question. So we are just going to consider 40% of the salary. 50% is for the metropolitan city, 40% of the salary is for non-metropolitan city. So let us start here. Now salary ke liye we know basic salary given to us as 1,92,000. We are given DA of 19,200, which is hereby 19,200 is 100% is a part of retirement benefit. So the whole amount is considered. Commission which was 86,000 ka 7%, only that amount we have considered 6020. So our total salary comes out to be 2,17,220. So this is our total salary which we will be considering or using for the calculation of exemption amount of HRA. Now because he is living in Ajmer, I have already told you we have to find out 40% of salary. So this salary or iska 40% comes out to be 86,888. Actual HRA received given to us as 2,88,000. Rent paid. So rent we are given that he is paying 21,500. So 21,500 multiplied by 12 comes out to be 2,58,000. Minus 10% of this salary comes out to be 21,722. So your rent paid minus 1/10 of the salary comes out to be 2,36,278. So we have got these three figures. Now whichever is the minimum, which is this 86,000 and 888, this is the minimum one. So this is going to be our exemption from the actual HRA received, which is 2,88,000. So our actual HRA received is 2,88,000 minus exemption amount, which is 86,888. So we got our taxable HRA. Okay. Now to calculate the income taxable under the head salary, we will also be adding basic DA and commission plus your taxable HRA, and you will get your income under the head salary. Now moving on to the another example which basically deals with the type of questions whereby for half the time or for some months an employee is living in a rented house and for the some part of the year he is living in his own house. So how do we do the calculation in that particular case? So hereby we are given in the question that basic salary is 80,000 per month. DA 40% is a part of provident fund, but 30% is part of pension, which is 10,000 per month. So DA 10,000 per month given है, but इसमें से 40% provident fund का part है और 30% pension का part है. So out of these two figures, we are going to consider 30% as a part of pension in order to calculate HRA exemption amount. So we'll just consider 30% of 10,000 coming out to be 3,000 per month. HRA which is actually received is 60,000 per month. Now we are given, commission is not given under this question. We are given X lives in his own house in Delhi till 30th June 2021 and later on shifted to rented house in Noida and pays 30,000 per month as rent, and you are required to calculate taxable HRA. So he was just living in Delhi for 3 months and in his own house. So for the first 3, we know our financial year begins from April. So April, May, June. For these 3 months he was living in his own house. So for those 3 months Delhi में own house में था, तो there will be no exemption for that for those 3 months of time. But then he shifted to a rented house in Noida. So it's a non-metropolitan Noida, and he paid 30,000 per month as rent. Rented house में 30,000 per month as rent वो pay करते हुए नोएडा shift हो गया. So यानी कि for the rest of 9 months of that particular year, he was living in a rented house and paying 30,000 as rent. So for those 9 months, he will be getting exemption on HRA. Now let us calculate. So for the first 3 months, we can do the calculation. यहाँ पर अब हम calculation monthly basis पे इसलिए करेंगे क्योंकि हमारा bifurcation है कि कुछ time के लिए he is living in a rented house and for some of the time he is living in his own house. So we are going to just calculate the figures. 80,000 is our basic salary plus 3,000 is our DA. So 3,000 we have to consider because 30% is the minimum one which is covered under, which is a part of all retirement benefits. So we will be considering only 30%. So it comes out to be 83,000 monthly basic total salary which is to be considered for HRA exemption amount. So 83,000 salary आ गया हमारा. यहाँ पर अब 50% of salary to be taken for Delhi. We are just doing the calculation, although we know that he will not be getting exemption for these 3 months. But let us have a look how to do the calculation. So 50% of the salary, because he was living in Delhi. Actual HRA received per month given in the question 60,000. Rent paid comes out to be 0. 10% of the salary coming out to be 8,300. So the minimum figure is 0. So for 3 months, 60,000 into 3, he would be getting 1,80,000 as total HRA, but exemption amount is going to be 0 in this case because he was living in his own house. So in this particular case, for 3 months, taxable HRA comes out to be 1,80,000. Now let us do the calculation for the next 9 months. Okay, July onwards, he was living in Noida in a rented house and paying rent of 30,000. Now salary is going to remain same 83,000 here also, but the amount of exemption is going to be different. So now let us have a look. The first figure would be 40% of salary. 40% of salary is 40% of 83,000 coming out to be 33,200. Actual HRA received is 60,000. Rent paid minus 10% of the salary. Now we are given कि वो 30,000 per month के हिसाब से rent pay कर रहा है. 10% of salary 8,300. Now this is 21,700. Now which figure is going to be the minimum one is this one. So total HRA received for the 3 months coming out to be 60,009 into 9 coming out to be 5,40,000. इसमें से हम ये हमारा जो भी minimum amount है 21,700 per month के हिसाब से multiplied with 9 months. So coming out to be 1,95,300. इसको reduce करेंगे तो we'll get our taxable HRA. So taxable HRA for the first 3 months is 1,80,000 plus for the next 9 months coming out to be 3,44,700. So our total HRA which is taxable comes out to be 5,24,700. So this is going to be our taxable HRA, and if you want to calculate taxable income under the head salary, your basic salary you can add and you can add your total DA. So by adding all these three, you will get your taxable income under the head salary. Now we are done with house rent allowance. Let us have a look at the another partially taxable allowance, which is entertainment allowance. Now, hereby it is very clear that entertainment allowance is not given to a non-government employee. If you are a non-government employee, you are not going to get entertainment allowance. But if you are a government employee, central or state, then some deduction is given. Yani from the total amount, some amount can be exempted. Now, in case of entertainment allowance, what we do is we add entertainment allowance in our total incomes from salary, and then later on that deduction amount is exempted or is reduced or is deducted from that income from salary, and then we reach to our taxable income. In order to calculate the deduction or the amount of deduction, entertainment allowance ke case mein, these three figures have to be calculated. The figures are 5,000, which is a flat amount given in this case. First is 5,000. Second is 20% of basic salary. Now hereby we are given in this thing ki basic salary will only be considered. We are not going to add any DA or any commission here. Just 1/5 of basic salary needs to be calculated. Third figure would be actual entertainment allowance received. So we will calculate these three figures. Whichever would be the minimum will be the amount of deduction. Moving on to the first question here. X, who is a government employee, gets 7 lakh per annum as basic pay and entertainment allowance of 8,000. He spent 10,000 on entertainment for official purpose. Can he claim deduction for entertainment allowance? So the very first thing, he's a government employee. So yes, he will get a deduction. One thing. Second thing is that we are given that he has spent 10,000 on entertainment. But for this deduction calculation point of view, we are not concerned how much amount is being actually spent. So we are going to just follow those three figures and find out the least amount and use it as a deduction. So 5,000 as a flat amount first. Second is 20% of basic salary. We are given basic is 7 lakh. So uska 20% comes out to be 1,40,000. Entertainment allowance actually received is 8,000. So out of these three, our minimum one is 5,000. So this is going to be our deduction amount. Now how do we calculate income from salary if we are having entertainment allowance as a part of salary? So let us have a look. Basic salary थी हमारी 7 लाख. Entertainment allowance जितना मिला उसको आप add कर देंगे, which comes out to be 7,08,000 in this case. तो ये हमारी हो गई gross salary. अब gross salary के अंदर से डिडक्शन अंडर सेक्शन 16 लगती है, जिसमें कि जितनी भी हमारी डिडक्शंस होती हैं हम वो निकालते हैं, रिड्यूस करते हैं. एंटरटेनमेंट अलाउंस 5,000 का हमारा इसके अंदर डिडक्शन अमाउंट हमने अभी कैलकुलेट करा था, लीस्ट फिगर थी. सो 5,000 इज कमिंग आउट टू बी आर एज आर डिडक्शन अमाउंट. स्टैंडर्ड डिडक्शन विच इज 50,000 फ्लैट रेट. तो ये दोनों अमाउंट हम ग्रॉस सैलरी से वी आर गोइंग टू रिड्यूस एंड देन वी विल गेट इनकम under the head salary, which is 6,53,000 in this case. Moving on to another example, this says that X, a non-government employee, gets 6 lakh per annum as basic pay, entertainment allowance of 9,000. Can he claim deduction for entertainment allowance? So in this particular case, we know that since he is a non-government employee, so there will be no deduction of entertainment allowance, so no calculation is needed. We are just going to add his basic salary, entertainment allowance actually received. So we'll get our gross salary is 6,09,000. Out of this, standard deduction will be reduced. No entertainment allowance ka deduction here. So our income taxable under the head salary comes out to be 5,59,000. So hereby we have completed two types of allowances which are part of salary: house rent allowance and entertainment allowance. Thank you.